Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
It's the pop culture Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
We're going to do a little bit something special for you here. Kind of a new thing we're trying. Basically, just some extra words from the heart about some of our favorite things that we might have talked about, things that we love. And so in this episode, I'm just going to gush a little bit, if you will.
We're going to do a quickie.
We're going to do a quickie. Just a real quick shot, Real quickie. A couple extra words about it's definitely my favorite movie of all time. Stands alone, and that is the 1980s action movie Aliens. Mm-hmm. Now, go ahead.
If I can get a word in.
Oh, please.
Sorry.
Because I'm about to go.
I know you're excited. So the reason we've chosen to do this little segment for you is just a real quick down and dirty as to why you hear this so often.
I got to get it out.
Yeah,
man.
you got to get it out. This is Israel's opportunity, and in the future, my opportunity to talk about things that we want to talk about more, but we have other shit to talk about.
That's right.
So we have to transition.
Yeah, I got to get it out there. It's my heart is overflowing with love for this movie, and so unless you want to hear it in every other episode that we continue to do, I got to get it out now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So buckle up.
So here we go, folks. Aliens, 1986, directed by James Cameron, starring Sigourney Weaver, Michael Biehn, Bill Paxton, a bunch of great people, Lance Henriksen. I actually first saw this movie when I was not old enough to see this movie. I've said this before, but my sister took us. We were living out in Lancaster, Palmdale area, out in the desert. My sister is 10 years older than me, and so she used to, when she had to babysit us, but she wanted to go see a movie, she would take us with her and then just say that she was our mom, and they would buy it. So we got to do a rated R movie. We went and saw this, and actually the rest of the story is, I don't tell this very often because it's kind of like a fun little side note, but I actually did not see the whole movie in the theater. I had to wait till we saw most of the movie, and then the film broke. The film broke in the theater, so we actually did not get to see. Back when they had film, we did not get to see the rest of the film. No, I forget. I think we just walked out. But then
it's whack, yo.
We saw it on VHS home, and then that I was hooked ever since then. And I've been trying to think about why this movie has stuck with me so much, like it did, because I was like 6 years old, 6 years old when I first saw this, and it scared me, it fascinated me, like I couldn't tear my eyes away, and it really is an instrumental movie in like my love for like science fiction and fantasy and stuff like that. But I'll just go over some of the main aspects, like kind of in retrospect, as I've thought about it over the years, of why I think it's maybe not like objective, like I think it is objectively a great film, but I'm not a film critic. I'm not talking about this movie as a writer or a director or even an actor. I'm just a fan, right? Mm-hmm. So, I love, there's so many memorable scenes. I feel like almost every scene in the movie to me is a memorable scene, and that's probably after years of, just watching it over and over again. Like I've talked about it before, the battle on Sublevel 3, where it's the first encounter the Marines have with the aliens, and they're just totally unprepared. The way that they're kind of sneaking through, and then there's like where they tell them like they're underneath the main heat exchangers for the entire like atmospheric processing facility, and if they fire off their weapons in there, they're going to damage it. So
They can't.
the Lieutenant Gorman actually tells him, he's like, I got to collect magazines from everybody. So they're basically making them defenseless. They got flame units, and I love the part where they got these things called the smart guns, these big guns that Drake and Vasquez have, and they're like kind of battery powered, and they take away the batteries. And then Vasquez just takes out a couple batteries and just plugs them back in. He's like, right on, Vaz, And so they're still armed, but he doesn't. And then Hicks takes out his shotguns. I keep this around for close encounters. And then, when they kill a chest burster that comes out of a woman, and then just all hell breaks loose, Mm-hmm. And they're just totally unprepared. They have to backtrack. Ripley has to bust in there with the APC, bust through a wall and stuff like that. Like the deaths and stuff. There's so many great deaths, Drake and Vasquez they're bringing up the rear, and they got the smart guns because they still got working weapons,
Mm-hmm.
And Drake kind of falls behind. His gun goes dry. He drops it, tears it away, and then he's got a flame unit. He's doing flamethrower stuff. And then as they're getting everybody into the APC, Vasquez is kind of getting pulled in, and there's an alien that kind of pops out and goes for Drake, and she shoots the alien, but the alien explodes, and its acid blood gets all over Drake, no. and he screams, and he kind of whips the flamethrower towards the APC, and they get fire inside and stuff like that. And he's like, and she's like, she wants to go back out, and Hicks is like, no, he's gone, and he breaks off the smart gun and goes to close the door, and then another alien comes, and he puts the shotgun in his mouth and says, eat this, and blows it off. But then that gets acid on Hudson's arm and stuff, and he's screaming. Oh, it's just this, it's a great, and they got one of the greatest lines of the movie where he's pulling Hudson out, and they're all getting ready to go, and he goes, Marines, we are leaving.
Yeah.
They're pulling out of there.
That's a famous one.
Dude, yeah. It's so many, so many great lines. Hudson's got Bill Paxton's character got his famous line, game over, man, game over, when like their ride gets like, an alien gets inside inside their escape, I forget what they, oh man, now I'm messing up and I'm getting too excited, but it crashes and they can't get out of there, and he's like, game over, man, game over. But it's great. It's great. The final escape that we've talked about before in previous episode, when the aliens get into the compound and Burke betrays him and tries to lock him in, and then he gets taken out, and then Hudson has his last stand. And I think it's great. I think it's great characters. Ripley, she's kind of a broken person from the events of the first movie. Yeah. She comes back, and in the extended version, you find out that she was going to go see her daughter, but then she realizes she's been asleep for 57 years, and her daughter's already died and passed away. So there's this great journey that she has when she meets with Newt. So it's like a surrogate mother-daughter thing. So, and that's just a great kind of characterization. You talk about like a strong female lead, who's like inherently feminine in the struggles that she's going through, and yet she's like she's a strong leader. She takes charge. She's kind of there at first as just an observer, and she doesn't want any part of it. But then she like can't stand the incompetence around her, so she just takes charge and goes for it, And so she has a great journey. Hudson has a great journey. Hicks, played by Michael Biehn, has a great, he's a great character, and Lance Henriksen, who's the synthetic, he's the android. And at first, like if you've seen the first movie, Ripley hates him because in the first movie, the android that's on board tries to kill her. He like malfunctions and he tries to shove a newspaper down her throat, So she hates Lance Henriksen's character, but then at the end, he kind of redeems himself, or he is redeemed in her eyes, because he ends up acting honorably. And then he gets torn apart in the last scene by the queen alien, and stuff. There's just so many like scenes when she goes down to finally rescue Newt, and she meets the alien queen for the first time in the egg lair. And she like just lays waste to all the eggs and just does the grenade launcher and blasts it into the egg layer and so gets out of there and stuff. And then of course the final power loader battle where she's the alien queen. She gets into the kind of construction power loader and she's whacking it, and then she finally like gets it into the outer door, the bay doors, and she opens it up to the vacuum of space and it starts sucking everything out. She barely kind of gets out of there, and then the alien kind of falls out. And I don't know, man. It's just I've watched it so many times, over the years, and to me, it never gets old. Like I think it really holds up as far as like a story. I think it totally holds up. The technology is a little dated, like the green screens with the PCs and stuff. Obviously, is like really old technology. But yeah, man. I don't know. It's reached a point in like my psyche where it's like it stands alone, Like I actually don't even think I can review it objectively because it's like, well, of course this is my favorite movie, Yeah, I think it's just so awesome. So many memorable scenes, so many memorable characters. It's just really just all kind of comes together. In my opinion, obviously, it's James Cameron's best film, even though he was like a really young director at that time. I think he'd only ever done Terminator up to that point, and he'd done some. I think he co-wrote Rambo: First Blood Part 2 and stuff like that. So, yeah, man, really, really cool movie. I'm a fan.
So wait. Tell me again why you like this movie. That's sweet, man. I know, you mention this movie all the time, and I have to go watch it again. I've seen it. It's been a while, and you've reignited the fire inside me to see these. Because, you've seen the amount of, things that have come from Sigourney Weaver in the, the big mech suit. She's been featured in other things, and that just means that that is an iconic scene. It's it's a strong female role,
Yeah.
And that's what Hollywood's really going for nowadays. And not to mention the aliens just in general, the CG. The CGI for the time was great.
Right. Well, there's no CGI in the film. It's all practical effects.
Yeah, it's all practical effects,
which makes it that much more impressive.
It was a guy in the suit, doing everything.
A lot of puppets and stuff.
A lot of puppets. A lot of just cool practical effects going on. So yeah, it makes it a great movie. I gotta watch it again and truly appreciate it this time and give it the attention it deserves.
Thanks.
Thanks. Obviously, you have strong feelings about it. We don't want to hurt your feelings. But that's great, man. It's awesome hearing you talk about it and the reason why you're just super stoked about it.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for letting me nerd out for a couple minutes. I hope all of you enjoyed it and stay tuned for more from these guys.
Absolutely.